Welcome to part 56 of the Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg, where we explore true crime, urban legends, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, internet mysteries, and more. I upload all the time, so remember to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. The body of Old Mike. Old Mike, a mysterious traveling salesman, is one of the most unusual mysteries arising out of Arkansas. Known only by his first name, Mike regularly visited Prescott, Arkansas during the early 20th century, selling goods such as pens, paper, and thread. His routine visits and sociable nature made him a familiar figure in the town, but his true identity remained unknown. On August 20th, 1911, Mike was seen attending an outdoor religious revival meeting in Prescott. The following day, his lifeless body was discovered under a tree in the town park. The cause of death was believed to be either a heart attack or stroke. With no identification found on him, and no one coming forward to claim his body, Mike's identity remained a mystery. Old Mike was known to speak English with a slight accent, and locals had believed that he was likely born in Italy. However, no one could confirm with certainty that this was the case. The local funeral home, Cornish Funeral Home, embalmed Mike's body and placed it on display in hopes that someone might recognize him. Despite the unusual nature of the display, which included Mike being kept in an upright wooden box with a light bulb to illuminate his preserved features, no one ever identified him. Over the years, the body of Old Mike became a local attraction, drawing visitors from surrounding areas. As time passed, the chances of identifying Mike grew increasingly slim, and the display became more of a dark tourism piece than anything else. By 1975, after more than 6 decades of being displayed, the Arkansas Attorney General's office intervened and requested that the body be buried. Locals had begun to become concerned about the lack of respect shown to Old Mike's body. After all, it was one thing to put up the display in 1911 when someone was quite likely to know who he was. But by 1975, this was very clearly no longer the case, and his body had simply become a gruesome attraction. On May 12, 1975, Old Mike was finally laid to rest in Deanne Cemetery in Prescott, in a quiet ceremony attended by general well-wishers, who at that point had grown up with him. The identity of Old Mike still remains unknown over 100 years after his passing. Also, big shout out to Crystal Barnes for this amazing local Arkansas suggestion. I could have never found this case without your help. Remember, keep your local suggestions coming in the comments or the Discord, and if I add the case, you'll get a shout out. Whale songs. Whale songs are complex vocalizations that have been extensively studied for their unique patterns and potential porpoises. The history of our understanding of whale songs began much later than one would expect, starting in the 1950s. A Bermudan sound engineer named Frank Watlington recorded mysterious sounds while monitoring for underwater Russian submarines near Bermuda. These recordings, later analyzed by biologist Roger Payne and his colleagues, revealed that the sounds were intricate, repetitive patterns produced by humpback whales. This discovery was pivotal, as it showcased the complexity and beauty of whale communication. Whale songs are structured in a way that is surprisingly similar to human music. These songs are repeated for hours or even days and are constantly evolving. The whales in a particular geographical area will all sing a very similar song, but over time, these songs gradually change. For instance, a unit within the song may change pitch or duration, and these changes can spread among the whale population like an evolving cultural phenomenon. The purpose of these songs is still a subject of much debate among scientists. One prevailing theory is that male humpback whales sing to attract females, similar to how birds use songs for mating calls. Another theory suggests that the songs may serve to establish dominance among males, or could even be a form of echolocation, though this last idea is less widely accepted. In 1970, Roger Payne released the album Songs of the Humpback Whale, which became a significant cultural and environmental milestone. The album not only brought the beauty of whale songs to a wider audience, but also played a crucial role in the early environmental movement. It helped to raise awareness about the plight of whales and led to stronger conservation efforts for these creatures. This album sold over 100,000 copies and was even included in the Voyager Golden Record sent into space, symbolizing the universal importance of these creatures. Whale songs have also been used to study the impact of human activities on the marine environment. For example, increased noise pollution from ships and industrial activities can interfere with the whale's ability to communicate. Some studies have found that blue whale songs have been decreasing in frequency since the 1960s, possibly as a response to increasing ambient noise in the oceans. Despite extensive research, many mysteries about whale songs remain. For instance, scientists are still trying to understand why whale songs evolve in the ways they do, and what specific functions different parts of the song serve. Perhaps the most significant question about whale songs is whether whales sing for pure aesthetic enjoyment. This would mean that whales are creating complex songs and singing to each other from across oceans. It also raises the question whether songs from certain whales are preferred for their aesthetic qualities by other whales. If this is the case, do certain whales have significant underwater followings? The disappearance of Aaron Gillerin. Aaron Gillerin disappeared under mysterious circumstances in Vienna, Austria on October 29, 2007. At the time of his disappearance, Gillerin was a 34-year-old American expatriate working as a researcher for the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. He was born in 1973 in Elmira, New York, and had an excellent academic background, including a Master of Arts in Theology from the Franciscan University of Steubenville. Known for his outgoing personality and achievements, he was also crowned Mr. Gay Austria in 2006. On the evening of his disappearance, Aaron was last seen at the Kaiser Brundel, a well-known men's sauna in Vienna. Reports indicate that he may have been involved in a physical altercation at the sauna, after which he was seen running naked from the establishment. Austrian police initially suggested that he may have jumped into the Danube Canal, but this theory was met with skepticism by his friends and family. His mother, Catherine Gillerin, a retired police officer from Ithaca, New York, immediately flew to Vienna upon receiving news of her son's disappearance. She encountered significant resistance and inconsistencies from the Austrian authorities. Additionally, the investigation was marred by accusations of bias due to Aaron's sexual orientation. Despite evidence and witnesses suggesting otherwise, the police maintained their stance, which included multiple changes in their statements and a reluctance to pursue the case aggressively. The disappearance of Aaron has spawned several theories, none of which have been proven. Some theories suggest that Aaron may have chosen to disappear on his own. This theory posits that Aaron, perhaps facing personal or professional pressures, decided to leave his life behind. However, this theory is less favored by those close to him, as they argue that there were absolutely no signs indicating he was planning such an act. Also, I note that this theory is tossed out in relation to virtually every missing persons case, and almost never turns out to be true. Another theory is that Aaron met with an accidental fate after fleeing the sauna. This theory suggests he jumped into the Danube Canal to escape an attacker from the sauna. However, this theory lacks concrete evidence, as no body was ever recovered, and there were inconsistencies in witness testimonies. A significant theory revolves around the possibility of foul play involving prominent figures who attended the Kaiserbrunndel sauna. This sauna was known for hosting socially and politically influential men, many of whom were not openly gay. It is suggested that Aaron might have witnessed or been involved in something that led to his disappearance. Supporters of this theory argue that the police's inconsistent statements and reluctance to investigate thoroughly might be indicative of a cover-up to protect these individuals. Over the years, Catherine Gillerin has tirelessly sought answers regarding her son's fate. Each year on October 29th, she holds a vigil in Vienna to commemorate his disappearance. The Vela Incident. On September 22, 1979, a U.S. Vela satellite detected a mysterious double flash of light in the South Atlantic, near the Prince Edward Islands. The Vela satellites were designed to detect atmospheric nuclear explosions, and the double flash was characteristic of such detonations. However, subsequent investigations have failed to conclusively determine the cause of the flash, leading to various theories and speculations about what really happened. Initial interpretations of the Vela incident leaned heavily towards it being a nuclear test. The Vela satellites had previously detected nuclear tests by countries such as France and China, with the characteristic double flash pattern. However, this particular incident stood out because there was no corroborative evidence such as radioactive fallout or seismic data typically associated with nuclear explosions. One of the prominent theories is that the flash was a nuclear test conducted jointly by Israel and South Africa. At the time, South Africa was developing its own nuclear capabilities, and Israel was known to possess nuclear technology, although it maintains a policy of ambiguity. While this was the most common theory at the time, other common suggestions included potential tests by Pakistan, India, the Soviet Union, or France. Some declassified documents and intelligence reports suggested that the two countries might have collaborated on a clandestine nuclear test. Despite these suspicions, the U.S. government was reluctant to officially confirm the nuclear test hypothesis. A panel of scientists, known as the Ruina Panel, was convened to examine the data. They concluded that the flash was unlikely to be a nuclear explosion. They suggested instead that it could have been a signal caused by a micrometeor hitting the satellite itself, or some other non-nuclear phenomenon. This conclusion, however, has been met with skepticism by some experts who believe the panel's findings were influenced by political considerations. Adding to the mystery, there were several pieces of evidence that hinted at a nuclear origin. For example, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico detected a peculiar ionospheric disturbance at the same time as the Vela flash. Additionally, some reports indicated that sheep in southeastern Australia showed traces of iodine-131, a product of nuclear fission, shortly after the incident. Over the years, various experts and officials have weighed in on the incident. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, in his White House diaries, expressed a belief that the flash was indeed a nuclear test conducted by Israel, based on intelligence assessments. However, the lack of definitive proof and the highly classified nature of many relevant documents have kept the true nature of the Vela incident a mystery. The disappearance of Carl Dish. On the frigid morning of May 8, 1965, Carl Robert Dish, an American physicist, vanished from Byrd Station in Antarctica. Dish was working on ionospheric research for the National Bureau of Standards. He departed the radio noise building to return to the main station complex, a journey of approximately 7,000 feet, but never arrived. Dish was known for his meticulous nature, often traveling the same route between the buildings. On the day of his disappearance, he was supposed to follow a hand line connecting the structures. This was a safety measure designed to prevent scientists from getting lost in the extreme Antarctic weather. Despite these precautions, Dish's trail disappeared a short distance from the radio noise building. The initial search efforts included firing flares and using floodlights to enhance visibility. Search parties combed the area, forming human chains to thoroughly check the route and surrounding vicinity. Unfortunately, the harsh weather conditions, including temperatures plunging to minus 79 degrees Fahrenheit, hampered the search efforts. Over the next few days, extensive ground and aerial searches were conducted, covering a radius of approximately 35 square miles, but no trace of Dish was ever found. Several theories have emerged over the years to explain his fate. Some suggest that he might have fallen into a crevasse, a hidden danger in the icy landscape. This theory posits that such an accident would have left no visible trace, explaining why the search teams failed to locate him. Others speculate that he might have suffered from disorientation due to the extreme cold and wind, leading him away from the safety of the hand line. Adding to the intrigue, a message purportedly from Dish was allegedly received at McMurdo Station in 1971, 6 years after his disappearance. The message claimed that Dish was still alive. However, this was widely dismissed as a hoax, given the lack of supporting evidence and the highly controlled nature of communications in such remote locations. Another hypothesis revolves around Cold War espionage. Some have suggested that Dish might have been a spy, and his disappearance was orchestrated by Soviet agents. This theory, while intriguing, is not substantiated by any credible evidence. Another variant on this theory is that he was kidnapped by Soviet spies for his scientific knowledge and lived out his life in Soviet captivity. Under this theory, the 1971 message could have been him reaching out for assistance. In recognition of his contributions to science and the mystery surrounding his disappearance, the Dish Promontory in Antarctica was named in his honor. Despite the many efforts to uncover the truth, the fate of Carl Dish remains unknown, likely forever. The Kamar Daban Incident. This is another suggestion from Austin Lee. Thanks again for another great suggestion. In August 1993, a group of 7 Russian hikers from Kazakhstan, led by Lyudmila Korovina, set off on an expedition into the Kamar Daban mountain range in southern Siberia. This trek, meant to explore the picturesque but challenging landscape, turned into a tragic and mysterious event. The group was comprised of Lyudmila Korovina, Sasha Krisin, Tatyana Filipenko, Denis Shachkin, Valentina Utachenko, Victoria Zalesova, and Timur Bapanov. Lyudmila was an experienced hiker and led the group. She had been awarded the Master of Sport of the USSR title, which was awarded to athletes in the Soviet Union who demonstrated exceptional skill. All participants were fit and experienced hikers, adding to the perplexity of the ensuing tragedy. Having already been to the Kamar Daban mountain range, Lyudmila began developing the route and hiking plan 6 months before the departure. The journey began smoothly, with the hikers progressing faster than anticipated due to favorable weather conditions. However, on August 5, 1993, just as they began their descent, disaster struck. Sasha, the last in the line, suddenly started screaming, clutching his face as blood poured from his eyes and ears. The rest of the group rushed to his aid, but soon Lyudmila began exhibiting the same symptoms. Panic ensued as Tatyana also started bleeding and convulsing, leading her to violently bash her head against a rock until she went limp. Valentina, the sole survivor, recounted that she and Denis tried to descend the mountain quickly, but Denis soon succumbed to the mysterious ailment. Terrified and alone, Valentina navigated her way down the mountain over 4 harrowing days until she was found by a group of kayakers. It took 2 days for helicopters to locate the bodies because Valentina could not speak or recall the event for several days. The hikers were found partially undressed. The official autopsies revealed that the hikers, except for Ludmilla, who had a heart attack, died from hypothermia. Interestingly, the hikers exhibited lung bruising, a symptom consistent with exposure to a toxic substance, possibly a nerve agent like Novichok, which was being developed in Russia. There are several theories that attempt to explain the bizarre incident, but like the Dyatlov Pass, none are fully satisfactory. One prominent theory suggests that the hikers inadvertently stumbled upon a Russian military experiment involving nerve agents. The symptoms described by Valentina align with those of nerve gas exposure, including convulsions and foaming at the mouth. However, this theory is complicated by the survival of Valentina and the public nature of the hiking area, which would be an unlikely choice for a top-secret experiment. Another theory posits that the hikers might have ingested poisonous mushrooms or drank contaminated water. This could potentially explain the sudden onset of symptoms and why Valentina remained unaffected. Despite these theories, the true cause of the incident remains unknown at present. The unusual symptoms, the rapid decline of the hikers, and the lack of definitive evidence all contribute to the mystery. Jimmy here. Hope you've enjoyed part 56 of this ever-expanding Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg series. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This really helps my channel grow and allows me to dedicate substantial time and effort to producing content. Also, don't forget to hit the share button if you know someone who might appreciate it. Make sure to check out the YouTube membership and Patreon. You can support my channel for as little as 99 cents a month. Shout out to my patrons Noah Schubert, Iced Mocha, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z-Volts, Director Delta, Unknown Delusions, Faye, Jack Russell, Boomslang, Spookiest Becky, Vespertine, Metanova, Will Roan, and Blasphemous. Big shout out to YouTube member Jordan All. Until next time, stay safe and healthy. Peace out, everyone.